So today I wanted to give my opinion on the GOAT debate of Smash Ultimate. Also, yay, another background. Because I've seen a lot of people talking about it after the Spoilers Kagaribi event that happened last weekend, because Akola won. So he has won now, I believe, 3 of the 5 biggest Smash Ultimate events. He's been incredibly consistent for the last several years. He has been not outside the top 3. And then, of course, the other contention for the GOAT is MKLeo, who had a crazy good performance at Kagaribi, which I'm actually so upset about. Like, not that he did well, but I was editing a video before I left to come where I am before, and I didn't get the video out in time. And I literally said, you know what? I really think Leo can, like, for sure just, like, win or get, like, top 4 or something. And then also, like, Spargo could do really well. And also, I'm, like, really excited for how Zomba's gonna do. Like, I think there are gonna be, like, 3 North Americans in top 8. And then that exactly happened, but I didn't get the video out, so no one's gonna believe me. But yeah, they both had really good runs. Obviously, MKLeo beat a ton of people, especially because he was in losers a little bit early because Spargo knocked him there. He was able to beat Ryuo, so he got over his Diddy curse, even though I know he lost to Nyono Canby at Level Up Expo. But, you know, Leo had a crazy good result, and obviously Leo was like the uncontested GOAT at the beginning, right? Won Genesis. Him and Tweak had his little rivalry, and then when Joker came out, and after he got like 33rd at the Umburo or whatever, he kind of just won everything for a while. Like, he got second a couple times, right? He got second at Shine to Samsora. I think he lost a couple more. Yeah, he lost, I forget what that tournament was. Something in SoCal main stage, I believe it was. Or something. One of the SoCal tournaments, I believe he lost to Nairo. But, like, those were, and, like, Mars beat him a couple times. But, like, that was kind of the exception to the rule because Leo kind of just won everything otherwise, right? Especially during, like, the like May to July or May to like August months. I know he lost Shine. He lost to Leo at the end of it at Shine. Or sorry, he lost to Samsora at the end of that in Shine. But like Leo just kind of won like back to back majors, including Evo, which is still the biggest and I would probably say like second hardest tournament of all time. I believe that the hardest tournament was definitely at some point like one of these Japanese tournaments, right? Because Japan is insane and the depth is crazy and it's wild. But I think I made a video about this like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, before like Dora Migi became the #1 player. But I kind of just wanted to talk about it because I think it's an interesting little topic, right? Because you have longevity versus like, not necessarily peaks, because I would say Leo and Akola both peaked pretty similarly. One thing I kind of want to get ahead of, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, but Akola's doing it with Steve and Steve is broken and the best character. For a long time, before the newer DLC characters came out and before Joker got nerfed, which is honestly a pretty big deal, and I feel like people really don't understand, like current people don't understand how good pre-patch Joker was. Because guns were insane. Like, you know how good the like Joker bullet arts are? That's how good normal Joker gun was, just with less damage. It was insane. And it was also less laggy, so it was easier to camp, so he was like more oppressive defensive wise. It was a whole thing. The character was crazy. I mean, it still is really good, but was like genuinely insane. But yeah, a lot of people thought Joker was like the best character, kind of by far. Like, I didn't necessarily agree that he was the best. I thought, you know, especially at the time, I thought Pikachu was better. And like Sonic wasn't buffed yet, so no one was really worried about him. Game & Watch was still like a weird pick, and it was kind of only Meister. But I feel like there was a lot of people that genuinely were like, yeah, Joker is a ridiculous character who's just like unfun to fight against. Like, again, there's so many instances of people just rage quitting versus Leo. Like, top players would just be like getting 3-stocked and they're like, I'm good, let's go next. Or like it'd be at the end of the set. And I remember that I think there was specifically a tournament, Smash and Splash 5, that I think in winners quarters and in top 8, like Mars and then Samsora rage quit versus Leo. At some point they were just like, it's not worth it, I'm getting destroyed, like let's just go next. You still have like 2 stocks, you have 2 Arsens. This is ridiculous, this is so stupid. So like, I wanted to kind of get ahead of it. People thought Joker was the best character at the time, so it's not like this is like, oh well, Leo was really good because he was using what people consider Joker now to be like top 10, top 15 character, while Akola is using the #1 character, who is Steve. Like, no, people thought Joker was that broken. Obviously, he got nerfed. Steve is better. The game has changed, right? Like, I don't think I would maybe put Joker like 10 in a tier list, probably not even that high. But also he plays Aegis now, and everyone thinks Aegis is like top 5, 7, something like that. I think the new tier list just came out and they were #7. So like, still a very good character. But yeah, I know a lot of people. It was honestly crazy. The crazy thing to me wasn't even Leo's like first year of Ultimate. It was his 2022, like 2021, 2022 dominance. That was kind of insane. Like when tournaments started back up after COVID, that he just like beat people with Byleth. He beat everyone with Byleth. Except for me. I made him go Joker, and then he still lost. But yeah, he was beating everyone with Byleth, which was kind of insane to me because no one thought Byleth was that good. Even like the people that were like, you know, a lot of people were like, oh my god, Byleth is actually so good because of Leo. We're like, yeah, this character's totally high tier. Like, that's as good as people thought he was, even when Leo was destroying everyone. They were like, dude, Leo's so much better than us. He's destroying us with a high tier, right? So Byleth was definitely not considered like as good. I think maybe, I remember, I don't remember their new tag. So I'm gonna dead tag someone, Pandarian. She thought that, I remember talking to her about it, and she was like, yeah, Byleth's like top 20. People don't understand how good this character is. But again, that's as good as, I think that's like the highest opinion I ever heard of someone having it. And it was top 20, which is not good. Relative, right? Like Joker was number 1, Steve is number 1, Byleth was 20, but definitely lower than that, right? Like somewhere in high tier, but again, this game has like 20 top tiers and like 20 high tiers, so it was like anywhere from like top 25 to top 40 was generally people's opinions of Byleth, and even then people were just like, he's just better than us, which is kind of crazy. But obviously Akola, right? Now we get to talk about him. Akola didn't have results before the pandemic, right? Steve came out and again, like didn't even play really before the pandemic. It's not like, oh my god, this person was bad and they picked up Steve and they became the best player in the world. Like they didn't really go to tournaments, right? I think they played a good Luigi on Smashmate and then suddenly was amazing, right? I do think that it is really impressive that Leo had the streak he did, but I genuinely think it is more impressive the streak that Akola has had in general, right? So Akola, once he became good, so like once, you know, post-COVID era, I think he has by far been overall the strongest player in the world, right? Mia's won the most majors, but Akola wins the big shit, right? He's been so good overall. He's been genuinely fantastic. He just doesn't lose, right? Like the thing that was crazy was the last Level Up Expo, not the one that just happened, but like the one before that. He got 33rd, losing to 2 Mario players, I think Kurama and Skinny the Pooh. And that was by far his lowest placement ever. Akola like does not get upset. Like he'll get upset by like the other top players, but he generally does not get upset by like random people that people don't really know of. Like I knew who Skinny the Pooh was, but a lot of people, because he had beat Leo, but before he beat Leo, I had never heard of Skinny the Pooh because I'm not from Texas. And it's kind of crazy to me that he was able to just, you know, he goes such long periods without getting upset, which is one of the reasons I think Akola is just like so good, is he does not lose to random people. Like other than Skinny the Pooh, and Kurama's obviously amazing, right? Kurama's a really good player. I'm trying to think other than that, who's like his worst loss at like a major, right? Because he's lost to like Mado's Zero Suit at locals. He's lost to random people at locals, but locals don't matter, right? Otherwise you have to be like, oh my god, Leo lost to Super Dog, also Mario. Mario's a good upset character if you weren't aware. Mario's a good character. And I can't really think of one. Like I can't think of what his worst loss was. And like even when he loses to some people in Japan, like Ashimo or Yoshidora or whoever, right? Like he just kind of normally beats them most of the time, and then it's like, oh my god, but this person beat them, so they won a major, because these people always get upsets on him in like losers finals, grand finals, winners finals of these tournaments, which is kind of insane, right? So like obviously he wasn't the number 1 player last year, right? That was Doramigi, and then Spargo had his, I don't remember if Spargo was number 1 for the full year or for the half year, to be honest. I really thought Mia was going to be number 1 at some point, but you know, I guess people disagreed. But like it is insane, genuinely insane how consistent Akola has been. And I know Steve is Steve, right? So like it kind of gives the benefit of like, well, he just kind of beats most people, but like he doesn't beat everyone, right? That's why he has his main demon of Spargo, right? But then the crazy thing is that he was able to beat Spargo at Kagaribi when Spargo was playing incredibly well, right? Like this isn't like a Spargo who it's just like, you know, I mean, obviously Spargo hasn't been doing super great this season compared to what we expect of him. Like, you know, we were like, he's top 4, and then he like has barely got like top 4s at tournaments and stuff. But he got 3rd at Kagaribi, which is nice. But yeah, he was in winners finals. He's kind of insane. But like Spargo just in general is like so such a demon in Akola's side because the matchup's hard, right? Spargo or whatchamacallit, Cloud does really well versus Steve. Zero Suit does really well versus Steve. And even then, like, a lot of the matchups that Akola has to fight against, even in, like, the losing matchups, he wins it, right? Like, that's the difference between him and Mia, for example, is Mia has to fight Mars, Mia beats him. Mia has to fight Leo, they finally played, or, like, top jokers, Mia loses to them, not Mia beats them, Mia loses to them. So it's really a testament to Akola's skill that when Akola is fighting these supposed bad matchups, which, like, a lot of people just tend to go like, oh, they're not that bad, even though, like, Zero Suit does beat Steve, Cloud does beat Steve. Like, a lot of people will tend to go like, oh, well, you know, that's because Steve is broken, as opposed to being like, damn, Akola's winning these hard matchups anyway, right, for the most part. Obviously, it's not the case all the time. I know Spargo has a very good record versus him overall, but then, again, another testament to Akola's skill is the fact that he was able to pick up Aegis, and again, Aegis is a good character, but, like, specifically for Spargo, and did, like, a bunch of anti-Cloud counterplay in that set. I'm assuming the Steve set recently had a lot of anti-Cloud counterplay, which, like, you know, I have a feeling, like, I have feelings about people being like, oh my god, look, this person studied this matchup and beat it. When, like, as an old head, I'm just like, you mean that's what we're supposed to do all the time? Like, I remember having to memorize, like, a bunch of different frame datas and, like, combos and specific things about, like, Brawl and Melee stuff, just because, like, the games have less characters. It's a little bit harder to find very specific matchup flowcharts and very specific counterplay and stuff in a game with 80 characters. That's kind of like the flaw of it. But I mean, Akola puts in the work, right? He's incredibly good. And also, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, the Kagaribi was so interesting because I feel like with other characters or other, like, struggles that he's had, right? With, like, Hurt, he goes Game & Watch because Game & Watch is good versus Snake. Even though Hurt's been beating Mia's ass recently. I don't know what's happening. He's actually destroying Mia. The Level Up Expo set was not close. I think, wasn't it like double 2-stock, 1-stock? It was like a 3-0, and, like, Snake's probably worst matchup overall, and he's like beat Peanut. Hurt's so good. But he's doing it with Steve now, right? Like, he beat Doramigi with Steve, even though literally last week, or the week before, I guess, at Level Up Expo, Akola went Game & Watch against Doramigi, and it was like a Game 5 loss, I think. And again, like, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, he's just picking up top tiers. It's just like, what do you think happens in Smash Bros. Games? People generally don't pick up niche mid tiers to beat a bunch of people, except for apparently Leo with Byleth, right? But, like, generally it is people that, like, people are picking up top tiers, right? Like, you don't go, oh my god, Axe beat Hungrybox for the first time with this niche mid tier. It's like, no, he did it with Fox. It's going to be with Fox. People picked, like, I, as a Brawl player, I was really good with Pikachu. I beat all of my players by picking up Ice Climbers, right? Like, people are going to pick up the top tiers because they have the most matchup spread, right? Spargo, Cloud, and Aegis for the most part, and then also plays Piranha Plant for some reason. People pick up Sonic, people pick up Game & Watch, people pick up Snake, people pick up, like, the good characters, right? Like Mr. E switching to Aegis instead of Lucina, Proto Banham playing Min Min. Like, this is what happens. Like, people pick up top tiers because it makes sense. People picking up Kazuya, etc., etc. So, like, I don't want him to, like, get a bad rap because, like, oh, you picked up the top tier. Because, like, also, at the time, Leo was playing mostly the top tiers, right? Ike was, like, a very early game top tier. People thought he was very good. Lucina was top tier. Joker was top tier. Now Aegis is top tier. So, like, Leo is picking up top tiers, right? He plays top tiers. So I mean, it's not top 1 at this point, but, like, still very good characters. So I don't want people to be like, but Steve is the number 1 and Leo's only plays the number 8 character and therefore Leo's better. But, like, in terms of length of time, right? I also think this is Akola's favor because Leo was good in 2018 was a month for Ultimate, so, like, it doesn't count. So 2019, he didn't win the 2020 Genesis before COVID happened. Did he win? No, Tweak won Glitch. I don't know if Leo was there. The Glitch before Genesis, before COVID. He won Frostbite, obviously, right before COVID. I think that was the last big event. Or there was a CEO Dreamland, I think. And then COVID happened. And he was kind of bad in the online era, Leo was. Which, granted, it's online, so there's no, like, shot against him. But it's kind of like a chunk of time that is, like, gone, right? So, like, Leo was good from 2019 to the beginning of 2020. And then he was really good in, like, the 2021, 2022 tournaments, but the 2022 tournaments is also when Acola was really good in Japan, and then he came over when he did Was that the Invitational? I don't remember if the Invitational was 2022 or 2023. And he was crazy good, right? Like he was so good. And he was just like insane. He was like number one. He was like not losing to anybody. He like, again, the 33rd place at Level Up Expo was like by far his lowest placement ever. Other than that, he was gonna like fifth, fourth, first. I mean, first, right? A lot of firsts, and then like second sometimes, third sometimes, fourth sometimes. And it took him for like, I remember it was a big deal when like Kamame beat him at in losers of one of his events to get 9th, right? Like people were like, oh my god, he finally placed outside of top 8, and it took like a year and a half. It was like a long time. And then again, 9th was his worst placement. That was like the singular 9th for like a long time. And then he got 33rd at Level Up Expo. But like, he's also like, it's not even like he's just winning in Japan, right? He's also winning a bunch of American events. He's won a Super Smash Con. He won, I forget, he won the Invitational, like destroyed everyone at the Invitational. Like there's been a lot of tournaments that Akola has been to in the States that he's done either super well in or won the tournament. Like not necessarily winning every single thing he comes to, but like he comes here and he wins. Like him and Mia just come over here and they win, for the most part. I don't remember all the tournaments off the top of my head, but like Akola, just like, you kind of just assume when Akola goes to a tournament, he's gonna be in winter semis, which is like not something every player can say, especially MKLeo of the current era. Like it was so amazing that he was in top 8 of Kagedimi, and he did super well, especially in losers. Like he had a good loser, and I was really worried once he lost to Spargo that he was gonna get 9th. I was gonna be like, no, the run, because again, I'm a fan of Leo, right? Like I want him to do well. It's very fun and entertaining, and I love his style of play. But like, honestly, the fact that Akola, especially this last weekend, like beat Zomba, beat Spargo, beat Doramigi, all with Steve, is insane. Because those, I mean, I don't know if Rob beats Steve. I don't know the matchup well enough. But like, Zomba just beat him at Level Up Expo, and Doramigi just beat him at Level Up Expo, and Spargo has like a very insanely high winning record against him. And the last time Spargo lost to Akola, it was against the Aegis. So the fact that he just won it with Steve is kind of insane. I don't remember what the second was. I don't know if it was like a 3-0 or something, but like beating all these amazing players that have given him trouble, right? Like Doramigi has had Akola's number kind of a little bit, right? Like I know the Game Watch is mostly for Hurt, and then I don't know, actually I don't remember if it's mostly for Hurt or mostly for Doramigi. It's for both, obviously, but I don't 100% remember. But yeah, I mean, Akola's just been such a threat, right? And I feel like, and again, this is no shade to anyone, right? Like Leo's a better player than me, so like it's not like I'm like, oh, Leo sucks. But I think like Leo dipping into like the 20s and the teens and stuff like that. Well, like I think he was just ranked like number 12 in this last year or something like that. And he got like number 20 or like 21 or something before that. And like obviously I think Leo's been playing really well. I've made a bunch of videos recently being like, yeah, I think Leo's doing super well. I think he's like a really slept on player. I think he's like one of the best players in the world right now. Like actually not just saying that to like, oh, one of the best is top 25, but like I think Leo's playing super good recently. Like he's back in my opinion, and I think the Kagedimi kind of shows that. But like it's been like Akola is just ever present. Like there is not a tournament that he goes to that I've ever thought that he might not just win, right? And like not like it's not like I'm like, oh, like he's for sure gonna get top 8. He always gets top 8. That's why the Level Up Expo was such a surprise last year. But like every tournament he goes to, I'm like, yeah, is he gonna get 5th or better? Basically every time, no question. Whereas Leo has had questions of, is he gonna get top 8? Is he gonna get top 16? Like I don't remember what he got at Genesis, but I know it wasn't top 8. And Akola I think got like 4th or 3rd, losing to Zomba and Sonics or some shit. Or like Zomba Doramigi or something like that. Or Hurt, like one combination of like the super top players right now. Zomba's been going crazy. He's been so good right now. I think he's like top 5. But like, you know, I find it really interesting that people are like, this is a debate. And like a lot of it comes down to like anti-Steve talk, which again, you know me on this channel. I don't like Steve. Steve is a pain in the ass. I don't like that character. I don't like him. I think he should be banned. Obviously Nintendo complications, but like I'm fully on board with like any of the things that nerf him. I would be fully on board with the ban. I don't like that character. But you can't deny the skill of the Steve players, right? Especially Akola, like specifically Akola, because Akola just like beats everyone's ass. Like he genuinely destroys like 95, 98% of the top players in this game. Like not just the players, he destroys 99% of everyone. But like of the top players, he just farms like 95 to 98% of them. The amount of people that have like 0 and whatever that they fought Akola is like super high, or like 1 and whatever. Which is one of the reasons why I really liked the Mia Akola rivalry, is because having them go back and forth with each other was super fun. Like I think it's one of the best rivalries in all Smash Ultimate at the very least. So like I don't like the character, right? And that doesn't mean that you can't give him his props. Or you shouldn't not give him his props. Like you should give him his props. He's really good. Like genuinely. I mean, there's reasons he's beat people with like Dr. Mario, with Luigi, with obviously his Aegis. There's a couple other characters he was playing for a little bit that I mean his Game Watch is really good, and like Game Watch is obviously also broken, like top 3 as fuck. But like Mia lost his consistency a little bit. And then Akola just kind of took it with his Game & Watch. Like his Game & Watch is really good. Beats Hurt when like Mia destroys Hurt, or sorry, Mia gets destroyed recently by Hurt. I want to see them play again soon because like I don't know how much of that has changed, but like it's crazy. Like it is an insane difference to just like see Akola like beat all these top players with other characters, right? Because that's the counterpick war that's happening with like the Sonic and the Steve, like Mia's Steve, Hurt's Sonic, even though he stopped going Sonic. I don't know why. And Akola's like secondaries have just been all super strong. But I would say like the amount of time that Akola has been dominant for, like again, I think I came to the same conclusion when I made this video a year and a half ago, and the year and a half has been much better to Akola than it has to Leo. So I do think Akola is the Smash Ultimate GOAT, and I think ignoring Steve in these conversations is kind of crazy considering Steve is like the character of Smash Ultimate. If you were to like look back at a retrospective, it's like saying like, oh, the #1 player is a Bayo in Smash 4. We're just going to ignore it. It's just like Bayo was like the character in Smash 4, like Bayo and Cloud, right? Even though I don't think Bayo ever got to #1. Well, I guess Leo and Tweak did play Bayo a lot at the end. So I guess they did. I guess Bayo was there. But you can't really ignore this. That's like saying like, oh, I hate the Meta Knight players, therefore the Meta Knight players in Brawl are like invalid. It's just like, well, we might have said that back in the day because we were all assholes. And again, I want a Meta Knight ban too. So I've been on the right side of history. But like, you can't ignore the skill of those players. You can't ignore how crazy consistent Nicole has been over the years. Because again, now it's been what, 5 years, 4.5 years, 5 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to be good. That's more time. Like Akola's been like in the argument for #1 player, or has been the #1 player longer than the gap between Smash 4's release and Smash Ultimate's release. I think that's crazy. That is an insane thing to say. And yeah, that's kind of my opinion on that. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Let me know if you like the background. It is nice. It is pretty pleasant outside. It's like 12 Celsius at the moment. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will have a gameplay analysis video out in the next couple days, so don't worry. Back to normal content. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.